Hey, everybody. All right, I'm playing the guitar like Mitch plays. So how's it going there, everybody? How's that market treating you? I think it's treating well. Now that we're recording, might as well just go. Things in Philly. We don't need to talk about cheesesteaks. I tell you all the time. Ask about the gravies, the sauce and the gravies. That's the stuff that goes on the pasta, the red stuff, the olive oil, all that. So, man, I see I got a couple people waiting to come in here. I'm not the one letting everybody in. So you guys are stuck with the ROG here in Philly. We're going to be talking about back to basics today. How much basic can you be other than create relationships? Create relationships with agents and sellers and buyers. Keep it simple, right? There's Cam coming in. He's not on audio yet. He will be. And when he is, he's coming in hot. And we got Dave Lawson coming in. There's Cameron in there with his sunscreen on. Boom. And we got Lawson.
What's going on, you guys?
Yo, what's going
Good to
on,
see you.
Lawson? We're stepping it up, Dave.
Love it. Love it. Oh, looks like I lost my camera there. What happened there?
You got dropped like a hot potato. Hey, Dave, is skiing done now out there?
Yes. Well, not Snowbird is still open, but Park City is closed.
Okay. So you're not skiing this weekend then?
No.
There you go. There you go. Cameron, are you gonna like go out in a boat or do anything? Or you just go a little golf, huh?
Gonna go play a little bit of golf, I think, this weekend. I'm actually moving into a bigger house here in about 2 months. So I'm really excited about that. And it's on a golf course. So this summer, definitely gonna be doing some more golfing.
Cool. What's your handicap?
Oh, terrible driving range. But by the end of the summer, it'll be better.
I am the best. Hey, we got Gail Nels. I am the best 31 handicap there is. So if any of you guys want to play in a tournament, the ROG is really good at 30, playing it at 31. I usually play like a 19, 21. They call me a sandbagger, but I'm very coachable. So when I play with a good golfer and we're playing on a team, I go at it. So,
That's fun.
Yeah,
yeah.
a friend of mine told me I'm very consistent at many sports. You know, golf, bowling, man, I'm really good. I shoot about a 120 in both.
I look at it this way. I get my money's worth on the shots.
Yeah.
When it all comes to that. So what's going on, Gail? How's mom doing?
Telling you, it's a freaking miracle. I swear. Like my son just got here last night from California to say goodbye to her, right? Because we thought she was, and all of a sudden we had this pastor come and like pray on her. Serious. And it was like the very next day, like she started eating. She's put on 9 pounds 14 pounds in 9 days. So we're going to her doctor because they don't believe it later today. But she's like, let's go to Trader Joe's, let's go to Costco. And she walked. I was at the nail salon. I heard her voice. I'm like, what the hell? She goes, you thought I was dead, didn't you? She goes, not so lucky. So she was with her caretaker. I know Gail's getting her nails done. Yeah, it's great. She's good. I'm good. Man.
That's it. That's
awesome.
it. Maybe
right.
you called it to the table. All right, who else we had? We had Masson. We had. All right, so it looks like it's going to be us to start this. So we got recorded.
Good to see Mr. Lawson. So good to see you.
Hey, Dre, you in here?
Yeah.
Hey, Dre.
I'm here. Yes.
There you go, Dre. You're under Mitch. You don't look like Mitch. You're a lot taller. And you have nicer hair. And you're a lot nicer.
Way better.
He's awesome.
There you go. Dre's it. So, hey, I'm going to take the lead on this thing because I know some of the guys were out, if that's okay. I know Pete's going to be coming in hot halfway through and all that. So, Gary Massa, what's going on, brother, from California? Gary, you want to, Gary, say yes, say hi if you're going to say hi.
You talking to me?
Yeah, you're on the screen. You're on the panel today, right? We're going back to basics.
I didn't know I was on the panel today or
Well, you don't
whatever.
want to be on the panel, then get off. Dre, throw him
Well,
off then. But guess
Hey,
not.
I'm
You want to stay
here.
on, you stay on.
I can always talk. I didn't realize. So Jay's like, you're supposed to be a panelist. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, here I am.
Cool.
All right.
All right. So
Good to
topic
see
of the
you
day is going back to basics. We're in a market that's crazy. We got people that are spending money left and right. We got people that are bitching left and right. We got people making money left and right. We got people joining the business left and right. And we got people leaving the business left to right. All right. So the bottom line is if we're going left to right, let's go all the way to the left and back to the basics of what you're doing that is costing the least amount of money, that's giving you best amount of return, and it's going to turn your business as quickly as possible on a dime. So let's start with Gail. Seeing that I know we've talked about this before. You go into a new town. What? We're going to keep them also bullet point. We're going to fly through these too. So we're not going to go on long renditions. If you get too wordy, I'm going to go pause and I'm going to jump on you. Okay? Is that okay?
Yeah, jump
All
on
right.
me. I've always wanted you to jump on me.
Oh, come on. Hey, we still may be roommates down in Florida. Come on, girlfriend. Let's go. Like you're like my sister. I know your cocktails and all. Let's go. All right. So go at it. Tell me, you went into this new market. You went into the new market. You went
Right.
back to your basics. And what were your top 3 basics that you did to get business going?
Well, I would say that, well, I'm a prospector, right? So what I've really tried to do in the last 2 weeks is really get good data. I'm tired of wasting my time prospecting on bad data, right? Because you get Mojo or you get into RedX or one of those things, and all of a sudden you're like, this, it plays a head game. You get the wrong number, it's not the number, it's the father. So I actually, and I don't get $1 from these people, but I actually started sending my neighbor. I'm very, very niche oriented. So I sent everything to My Plus Leads. It's 25 cents a record. Even if you have 300, what is that going to cost you? 300, right? And at least you're having the right phone numbers. I could zip through it a lot quicker. And I'm just having conversations about the market. Have you thought about selling? You guys know my script. I mean, I think a lot of people know what to say. If you don't know what to say, I'm happy to give you my script. But at the end of the day, it's really just picking up the phone, making the contact. And I'm really working the other end. Like I was just at meeting a contractor right now on a listing that I'll be closing probably a week. And the buyer, their agent wasn't there. She's an attorney. She's a trust and will attorney. So I was there. So I met her carpet person. I was like, hey, no problem. I guess I'm going to hang your TV. And, trying to work, because anytime somebody moves into a neighborhood, somebody else from their family comes. So I'm really trying to capitalize the Adopt Your Buyer program, right? Because I don't work buyers, but shoot, if I know somebody wants this particular neighborhood, and I'm not all over the place. Like I just closed this one listing and my assistant said, do you want to send out just sold? I'm like, no, that's not my neighborhood to target. Even though it's a great neighborhood, I like a nice tight database. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just having conversation and I'm saying no to the wrong people that suck my friggin' time. And I was dealing with one of Cam's agents. He and I were going back and forth because I referred him a nightmare buyer that I didn't know because she was a nightmare seller. I just invested $2,000 in her last week, right? $800 for decluttering. Photography was another $800. And then I had my husband power washing for 6 friggin' hours. And then she just started, she said something to me that, you have to know when to walk away. Luckily, I don't. It's not that I don't need the money. I don't need the fucking headaches. I don't need the headaches. She's like, I don't want to pay a buyer's commission. I saw the lawsuit. She's a doctor. And I go, really? But she's Cam's buddy, Eric Rose, phenomenal agent down in the Tampa area, is sending me screenshots. She only wants to see homes that sellers paying the buyer's commission. So she's playing both ends of us. So I was like, I pulled the plug, yesterday. And oh my God, I felt amazing. Do I need that commission? Yeah, we all need a commission, but we don't need a freaking headache. So it opened me up to spend more time finding the right client that's going to appreciate me, not suck my time, and get me into the right frame of mind. Because you need a good frame of mind in this business right now, right? You got to it's especially if you're a solo agent. I'm a solo agent now. I love it and I hate it, right? Because I don't have the camaraderie of my team or like, you take this crazy. Normally I say to my partner, Val, take this crazy person. Right? I don't want it.
So how did you tell? Okay, pause. How did you tell that person that you fired them?
Oh, I told him about my mother's terrible health. I was like, no, I honestly said what I said to them. I said, you know what? I just can't commit the amount of time you need for me right now. I just can't. I can't give you, I'm not in, I just feel like it is it's going to be a bad fit. I want you to get the best results. And I didn't want her to go all over Google and say, it's a terrible agent. I just said, my family needs me more than you do right now. Let me pass the baton to somebody. And I referred somebody that I really, really hate. No,
That's what I did.
That's a classic. The best is also your line, as you always say when you're door knocking. What? Who is your neighbor who you don't like? Who likes the least?
I would say, hey, have you thought about selling? No, absolutely. I'm going to die here. I'm like, well, do you have any neighbors you'd like to get rid of? Right? And they always have. Well, she parties. That kid drives drunk. Whatever. Yeah, neighbors will always tell you everything. That's why disclosures are so important. I can find everything out. And I actually do this when I am taking a listing too. I'll talk to the neighbors on both sides because they will tell me, hey, did they tell you how many times they've asked me to put in a pool and I won't let them put in a pool? Or did they tell you that their air conditioner, this just happened like 2 weeks ago, keeps breaking and the guy keeps bringing out a cheap guy? I'm like, no. But then I have that conversation because guess what? They will tell the buyer. They will tell the buyer. Why not know?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when clients start nickel and diming, you have to do a home inspection if you're going to list with me, because I don't like surprises. I don't want to be interrupted during my vacation over, I'm not going to fix this. It was like that. Here's the big line I hear all the time right now. It was like that when I bought it. So guess what? That doesn't, that worked then. You bought in a market where everybody would have bought somebody with a dead body in the backyard, right? Mold, they don't care. But now it's different. So you got to change with the time. And so, you can't go back to your stockbroker. Hey, when I bought this was $47 a share and now it's 12. I want $47.
Yeah.
Good luck.
All right. Well, going back to the basics, it sounds like you're being truthful. You're saying no to people and you're building a clean database instead of just having like a shotgun approach. You're pinpointing it like a sniper.
Go deep. My best advice is go deep, don't go wide. You'll get marketing dollars they'll go way further.
There you go. Cool. All right, let's go down here to Cam. I'm not going to beat you up about the suntan lotion. Pete does that all the time, but I will beat you up on that you're going to try to play some golf and you suck at it. I understand. So from one guy that's bad to another. All right. So what are your basics that have you gone back to in this market today?
Great. Yeah. So good morning, everybody. Craig, great question. The question being is the basics to get going, get started, and what we can revert back to that produces, right? Number one, and this is for everyone that's watching, the most important thing is you have to have a database set up so that you can put people into it. I'm talking with so many agents right now that's like, what do you use for a CRM? Oh, I use, Pages or Word or Excel. And it's like, you got it. That's great. At least you're using something. But these days, having the integrations where you can make calls straight from the system, be able to organize people, as well as, as you grow and you have assistants or team members, they can also be using that same system to keep everybody organized. So the number one basic, you guys, is make sure you have your CRM set up, that you have it in some way organized so that you can use it and be efficient in it. The next part, though, obviously, is how do you get people put into it? How do you fill up that CRM? Tons of ways. There's so many options that we can do for free right now to start putting people into that CRM. It's always going to go back to, though, you have to contact them. You have to reach out to them. We can do all of this work and we can fill up the CRM, but if you're not doing the work and you're not reaching out to them, it's all for naught. You're just spinning your wheels, which a lot of agents love to do. We like to feel busy. So we like to try to figure out how to make systems and make stuff and post things. But when it comes down to the doing the work, which is the most profitable thing we can do, that's where most people churn off or they falter. So how to put people into your system. My favorite ways right now, you guys, is using a system like Gail was just saying, using a dialing system so you can directly reach out to them on the phone. It's one of the cheapest things that you can do, you guys, is pick up that phone. Don't know who to dial? Look in your contact list. This is the basics. This is going back to the basics. Everyone here on this call, I know, can open up their cell phone and have 400 or 500 contacts.
Yes.
Call them, you guys. Just let them remind them that you're still in the business, that you depend on their referrals, and you would love to help anyone that they come in contact that's looking for real estate. Plus, you can help people that aren't even in your area. because of this incredible company that you're with. So remember, is you lead with value. You can help people even if they're outside of your area, because you are the go-to real estate expert. And if you are going through your contact list, right, you're going through the people you haven't talked to in a while, they don't know any different. They're only going to know what you tell them, you guys. So lead with confidence, have that smile on your face, and make sure that you are instilling that, you know, you're able to help, you're ready to help, you would love to, you know, be a resource for them, even if, you know, you don't even get paid because it's not even in your area. That's valuable, you guys. So phone dialers, I love that. Door knocking and open houses. Again, back to the basics, you guys. It's hot out here in Florida. We're still doing it. I dress just like this, collar, shirt, slacks, and I'm doing door knocking when it's 85, 90 degrees outside. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I'm literally sweating. I keep a rag in my back pocket. But you want business right now, go around a neighborhood that you just got a listing, you just sold a property, or like Gail was saying, that you're targeting specifically, so you can start building that trench in the community. You can become the community agent because you're not trying to spread yourself all across the city. You're just targeting a certain neighborhood or a few different neighborhoods.
Great.
Facebook Marketplace, another great resource. So if you don't have listings or you do have listings, make sure you're putting them in Facebook Marketplace. If you don't have listings, that's okay. Go on to Workplace or go to your broker. See if you have, you know, agents in the office that would let you post their listings to Facebook Marketplace. What can it hurt? You're just going to have people reach out to you to ask if it's still available, but you're able to put those people right into your database or your CRM, and it's another free resource to start filling it up. And then the last one is Facebook groups. It's a gold mine, and I could go into this for 45 minutes, but building a Facebook group specifically for a community, a neighborhood, and then obviously you're combining that with your mailer, like Gail was saying, or, you know, either a letter mailer, a postcard mailer, or you can use what I think most of us here on the panel are recommending, which is the Real Marketing bifolds, which are just beautiful. But it doesn't matter. You combine the Facebook group with the marketing, plus the circle dialing, plus the door knocking, plus the open houses, you guys. That's basics, and it's pretty darn cheap. Like, for all things that are out there trying to charge us, you know, $2,500 or $3,500 a month, doing the system is, you know, pennies, you guys. Now, it's going to be up to you to make those calls. You're going to have to, again, go back to the basics, pick up the phone, make the contacts, and that'll work for you. Outside of that, basic stuff, you guys, don't lie. Treat every client like they're $1 million client, because they are. You know, they buy a $100,000 house, they're going to refer you a client that's going to be awesome. So treat them just like they are a multi-million-dollar client. Offer that, I always call it the white glove service, that prestigious, do everything you can for them. Treat everybody like they are your family, and you will be rewarded for that. And then the last thing, because I know we got a lot of great panelists on today, do your post-closing follow-up. Basics. You close a house, you need to be calling them, you need to be texting them, they need to be in a system that's giving them automatic updates. Do the follow-up. I love HomeBot. It's homebot.ai for pricing adjustments and kind of pricing follow-up, and it sends out a monthly, you know, market update on what it believes the home value is. It's literally a copy of NAR RPR, so the numbers are like identical, but the interface and how it looks and how many people I have click onto it, it's fantastic. So with all of those things, fill up your database, set up your database, fill up your database, and then do the work, make contacts with them, and you'll have the success that we all have when we do our work. So that's it. That's the basics.
There we go. Here's the key point. You got to do the work, everybody. You got to do the work. The only way to fill your CRM, and everybody says, what's the best CRM? A lot of us use KV Core here at EXP. Some of you use this boss and that one and this one and that one. The bottom line is whatever CRM that you're using is the best CRM. And Cam, you've said that one before. If you're using it, it doesn't matter. Do something, but it has to be able to keep that information. Write this number down, everybody. 83. I know we discussed this before. 83% of all of the agents create orphans after the transaction. 83%. So if you go back to all the people that have bought or sold a house, or that have bought a house in the past 10 years, 83% of them are not getting followed up on their agent. Most of those agents are out of business. So go into an area, find them, and start adopting these people. The information's there. Say, hey, buddy, just start sending them an ad. This is something. There's a real quick tip. Ken, what you were talking about is going door knocking. Go find those houses and start sending them cards saying happy anniversary on your house. I can't believe it's been 5 years. They don't remember their agent. Their own family isn't sending them a birthday card, but they're getting a house anniversary card, and then all of a sudden start putting them on something every 3 months. Now all of a sudden you're going to pick them up. And we just got a listing that way. I started that a year ago, and somebody goes, I didn't buy it from you, but you're the only one staying in touch with me. And it's brilliant because the other agent is a very successful agent. All right, let's go up here to Dave Lawson. Is up there. He's now melting in snow. He's going to be whitewater rafting soon because of all the snow melt. So we're going to come to you. I know you've got the luxury. We're going to stay. We're going to try to bullet because I know we got a lot of people. We got Randy. We got Brian that jumped in. We got Randy. We got Gary and Matt in there.
Yep.
So,
I'll make it quick.
all
Thanks,
right,
Craig.
you're on.
So welcome everybody. Super excited to share this because I have ironically been talking to my team about going back to basics, and my sales manager and different people really over the last several weeks or months. So I'm going to say something that might be shocking, but if you want to make a lot of real estate, a lot of money in real estate, go back to high school. Okay. So Craig, you and I, we went to high school, didn't we? I'm not sure I remember.
I had a lot of fun.
Okay, yes, we did. But here is the concept of going back to high school, gang. So Craig, it was a long time ago, but where were you at 8 o'clock in the morning in high school? You were in your first period class, right? And I can't remember the class. It might have been math. Where were you at 9? You know, history. Where were you at 10? Where were you at 11? What'd you do at lunch or at noon? You went to lunch. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. You're doing sports, right? Your day was it was regimented. It was the same. It was every day. You didn't wake up in the morning and go, "Guy, I wonder what I'm going to be doing at 10 o'clock this morning or 1 o'clock this afternoon," right? It was regimented. So if you want to make a lot of money in real estate, so I heard a statistic that the average agent in real estate spends 30 minutes a day in lead generation. So that means the average agent, in my opinion, in real estate should fire themselves because it doesn't work. That's the reason that the average agent in the US is selling around 2 homes a year right now. So if you go back to the basics and you say, you just lay out what you're going to do every day. And it's even better if you do it before you go home the day before and you set a schedule. So if I send you, Greg, if I send you a referral for a $3 million listing appointment tomorrow at 9 a.m., where are you going to be at tomorrow at 9 a.m.?
The listing appointment.
Yeah. Is anything going to stop you from being there?
Nope.
Well, unless we're dying in the hospital, right? Or we get in a car crash on the way, but nothing is going to stop you from being there, right? Gail is, Gail and I grew up in the business prospecting, and it's how we built our business, right, Gail? And so, I mean, I don't know what my high school schedule was specifically, but I know I was at first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh period and whatever, right? So when I got in the business, I had a very regimented schedule. I got up, I went to the gym, I got to the office, I did things, I called, I role played 5 days a week for 25 minutes. I contacted my accountability partner. I prospect for 3 hours. I returned emails. Then I went to lunch. Then I came back. I did 1 hour of lead follow-up, and the rest of the day was appointments. If I didn't have appointments, I made more phone calls and did more prospecting. It was so simple. This business game is so simple, but it's hard. And you have to get used to repetitious boredom. So that's the first thing. And the other thing I'm doing right now in my business is I have gone back and I'm looking at everything I'm doing. So we worked over the last couple months redoing our listing presentation or our listing consultation. And what we did is we started with 1, and then we actually ended up making 4 because I work in Salt Lake, I work in Park City, what kind of the normal market. I work in Park City ultra luxury, and I work in the Wasatch Bank back of Camas, Heber, Midway Valley. So we did one and then we slightly modified it. So I have a listing presentation that makes it look like I'm a professional in each one of those 4 markets. I'm also redoing my buyer presentation right now. I left the meeting to do this meeting, and as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go back and I'm going to be working on updating my buyer's presentation. Our business is changing on August 17th. Are we going to wait till August 17th and wake up on the morning of August 18th going, oh, wow, I think I need to be thinking differently, right? No, or we want to prepare ourselves right now. And so I'm really just kind of looking at everything that I'm doing and I'm evaluating. And the last thing I'm going to say is stop working in your business every day. You've got to set time in your schedule to work on your business. The E-Myth Revisited, one of my favorite books, he talks about we have to break out time to work on our business, right? So I could spend another hour talking about what all that means, but I know everybody. I don't want to talk because when I'm talking, I'm not learning, and there's so many people out here that I can learn from. So I'm going to pass it back to you unless you have any questions. Thank you.
Cool. So your basics are really cleaning your stuff up and making it specific. It sounds like going back to some of those things. There you go.
Yeah,
Cool.
I went to a Todd Duncan event for mortgages a month ago, and he talked about 2 things. Make it simple, but the other thing is quit asking the questions like, Craig, where do you want to move? When do you want to be there, right? And ask, Craig, what would it do for you and your family if you were able to move down to Florida to retire or whatever? And he taught, and I've used this, but I didn't do it. It was sort of odd. I sort of knew how to ask emotional questions, but he goes, gang, that's how we connect with people. So if I know you want to retire and you want to move to Florida, and then I'm going to help you, and then I'm going to find out why that's important for you and your family, and I'm going to do all that, then we build a really tight connection, and then you're mine for the rest of
There's a great book.
forever.
Was it Using the Exact Word? I'll get the book for next week and I'll hold it up. I forget who wrote it, but it's Using the Exact Words that are the trigger words. And I'll bring something up like that. Gary, welcome to the panel. You're on the hot seat, brother. Take your mute off though. We can't hear you. And then we're going to go jump around to probably Randy next. So Randy, get ready. Then we're going to go to Brian and Matt, because we're on last 30 minutes and we're going to do something at the end that's fun. All right, Gary.
Yeah.
Top
So-
3 things that are working for you basic in the market that you're using.
Yeah. And again, like Gail and Cam and David said a lot of it that I would probably just reiterate, but just to add something different to that. I came into this year looking at, trying to get back to the basics, realizing that we are going in, coming out of a really challenging shift in Q4 into Q1. And what I was really looking at is evaluating what we have. What's already in our database, our clients, what's already working, instead of trying to recreate or add more, new stuff on, right? And so within that, I think we can all look back in our database or look at our closings and realize that 80% or roughly 80% of our business still comes from my past client and sphere. In this year alone, pretty much all but one transaction that I personally was, that was my personal transaction, all came from referral, every single part of it. But when I look back at that, and I just did this exercise last week for a few other reasons, I look back at that because in Q4 last year, I started making the efforts to go back out and connect with my clients, having dinner with them, having lunch, etc. The point that I think that we all forget or we got used to coming through, let's just call it the COVID era, right? Like 2020 through 2023, when things were moving so damn fast and we were all trying to put so much business through, like whatever excuse we're going to make, but let's just say we didn't have the time to really work with the client appropriately to generate that relationship, because we were just trying to do too much, you know, grow too fast or whatever the case, and trying to keep up. So personally, I'll admit, I didn't get to have those touches. I didn't get to, you know, have those lunches or those dinners or whatever the case. So going back to quarter four last year, realizing that, you know, we went back to implementing systems through the closing process to touch on those clients. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Client Giant. We started implementing that with most of our client closings, and I'm getting a phone call every time one of those little presents land, like during the transaction and or to the past client. We put 20 past clients on it to start the year, and I'm getting phone calls from these people. It just is another way for us to reach out and connect. And they're reaching out to me now. And so getting through the transaction and all the touch points of, like, you know, through escrow, when the Client Giant, I don't know, is doing its thing and sending them boxes for moving and cute little notes or whatever the case, like, we're getting people to now do, you know, to do the reviews. They're calling me super excited and happy that'll happen. They're referring me more people. So, like, I guess the point being is stripping out all the bullshit that, like, we think that we would have had to do in terms of, like, lead generation, or we should be paying for this or doing this, like, cut it all out. What's actually working, and get back to that. Let your ego slide for a minute, and don't feel you have to be spending money on generating resources or trying to investing in resources that aren't working. And so,
Jack, do me a favor, when you're done this, put that in the chat, the Giant, whatever that website, for everybody can see.
I will. And the other thing that I've really had to do, getting back to basics, is eliminate the time waste. Like, you know, I've the last couple of years have been challenging in many ways. I'm not going to get into most of that, but what I've realized is there's a lot of things that I do or that have affected me and are, you know, didn't make me happy with what I was doing in my business, right? And so getting back to the stuff that, you know, shedding off the time waste, staying more focused, because nothing frustrates me more than feeling like I'm wasting time or like it wasn't a value spent of my time. So focusing more on, or getting back to realizing what is a good use of my time and focusing it there. And getting back to kind of, you know, what we were talking about, the database that Cam was saying, and getting back to relationships. Yesterday, my team and I and a few other people were in a kind of a very intimate, like, small coaching setting event, where we talked a lot more about the relationship building and stripping away, like, yes, we all have to, we all have incoming leads that we need to follow up on, and whatever the case. Some of us don't have a database, so we need to go out and generate and do the activities, generate those new clientele. But, like, what is it that we already have in our database, the relationships that we already have? How can we love on them more? And how can we, I don't want to say squeeze as much juice as possible, but at the end of the day, nurturing those relationships and getting back to the relationship based, business building. And it's going to be more profitable in the long run. And so there's a few things that I took out of that yesterday about what Gail said, going deep, not wide, because there's a lot more favorable business in what we already have, as opposed to meeting new clients that are going to treat us, you know, in certain ways that we need to fire them. You know what I mean?
People are already loving on you. Those people
That's
are
right.
already loving on you.
They're already loving on you. And I think that we've all forgot about them because we were all too busy or focused on trying to generate new business, when the reality is most of our good business comes from the people we already know.
There you go. There was a gentleman that was years and years ago, I'm going to date myself, guy, Howard Britton, who was a speaker. And one of the things he is, we're so busy going out to try find new clients. Let's talk about a cattle herder. Is he going to make more money having a bunch of skinny cows, or he's going to make more money having a bunch of fewer cows that are really heavy and worth more money when they go to get weighed and be bought? Make your people heavy cows for yourself versus having a bunch of them that aren't doing anything for you. All right, Randy, we're going to wake you up that you're not in the mood playing with the babies. And again, we're going to keep firing and keep going. You're a little different because you deal with investors a lot. You and Brian, we know that. You're probably really good at communication because now you're doing it half asleep, especially with the new baby. So what basics are you going back? Because I know you've said a lot of times you have not a lot of time in your world now that you have the 2 children. What are you doing back to the basics to create the most amount of money right now?
Yeah, I mean, I try to really stick to the things that I've been doing. So I try not to deviate from things that work, right? Which on the traditional client side, which I do have, you know, Not maybe 50% or so, or 40% of my business is more traditional. But for those clients, I do what Cameron said. I have HomeBot set up, right? So I try to leverage technology, right? To do the heavy lifting for me. And I just literally got a buyer under contract because from HomeBot, he replied to like, hey, is my house really worth this much? Right? Because that's one of the things it does. And we engaged, and I was like, why? What are you thinking? And he requested for us to actually do a more detailed CMA because they have an option to request it right there on the screen. We got a notification and we got on the phone and we found out he wants to buy. And the house we sold him 4 years ago, he wants to rent it out and he wants to buy a bigger home, so he, now we're under contract for him to buy another property. So, and it was HomeBot monthly staying in front of them. And then, so those things really help, right? Leveraging technology. And one of the other things that I do that's just consistent is quarterly updates to my sphere. Most of them are past clients and maybe current clients I'm working with. They receive a quarterly update from me. So I don't really have like a weekly or monthly newsletter like some realtors have. And I don't do that. I don't have, the time, and I don't want to honestly sign up for some genetic template stuff that doesn't, I don't know. I just don't find value in that. So I put together very well detailed. I spent honestly once a quarter, I spend probably 3 hours on this email that I form. And it's a true market update on the past, what happened in previous quarter, and what I'm projecting for the next quarter, right? And it's backed with stats and graphs, and that seems to be working very well. I have honestly about, I think 70% open rates on that email list. But I don't bombard them.
Could you put a copy of what that would look like? Do you have a copy of what that would look like? Could you put that in the chat? Is that easy enough for you to do?
Yeah, I have my VA added to my website as a blog, so I'll put a link to that for you.
Perfect.
But yeah, so that gets really good results because I share a little bit about, the first section. I talk about kind of like my life update, right? And I ask, hey, if you have anything going on, please, I would love to know what's going on in your life. So a lot of times I'll just get responses like that, like, oh, happy birthday to your daughter, or like, oh, how amazing, blah, whatever. We just did this, so sometimes I'll just get that, right? But that's fine. Like, I just know that means that they're actually engaging, opening, and they enjoy getting them. And then sometimes I'll get emails back on that and they say like, wow, this is great stats. I'm curious what my house is worth right now, or but I really do take my time. So I'll show you examples of that. So those are the two basic things I kind of stick to. And then, the third one is I send an anniversary gift to every client, right, that bought with us. And that's every year they get something, right? And I literally just got 2 photos text to me from my past clients with their gift and them. And then like, thank you, Randy and Jessica. Jessica's on my personal team. And they're thanking us for the gift, right, for their anniversary. So yeah, so those are like the 3 staples, right? On the investor front, which I know, that's kind of like my arena. What I've been doing for years, again, I don't deviate because it works. I do a monthly meeting for them. I do it on Zoom. I used to do them in person when I was living in San Diego. Now I'm in Tampa. I'm remote. I run my team remote, and I never COVID forced me to go on Zoom, and quite honestly, it actually benefited me because I can reach a larger sphere of my investor clients beyond San Diego. So now I have, investors joining me on my private, their private Zoom meetings, right? So I make it exclusive to my investor clients because I have partnerships set up with 2 education companies that basically connect me with investors. So that's kind of how I was able to form that community, right? That sphere. And I just do a Zoom meeting for them every single month, right? And that's a very investor-focused conversation. And I give them market updates again, right? That's happening. I speak from an investor mindset because I understand it. I was an investor. I flipped over 350 homes. So I know what they're thinking about, right? And so I always want to give them kind of like how would I approach the market with the data that I have? How would I formulate my offers today? right, to get properties locked up, right? What is the data telling me if I were to go and invest, right? So I always want to make sure they understand kind of how I think, right, based on what I'm reading as a realtor from market data. And then I go into case studies. Usually I always have a case study, and it's within the community. People love learning from case studies, right? And that's been my staple, man. Same thing. It's like
Holding Zooms with people that are your network could actually work. That's an example for everybody to do. Do a monthly, quarterly meeting, coffee with, Gail, whatever it might be. We're having a Zoom, and I'm going to give you a live market update. There's an idea for the attendees.
I
Start taking
love
that.
that.
I love that idea. I said I'm gonna maybe start doing that.
Yeah, and don't get all bent out of shape if 2 people show up. That's how it starts, right?
It's
But
better than hiring a room for coffee and nobody shows up. You might as well do it in the Zoom, and then you go from there.
Yep. So anyway, so I'm going to stop there, but those are kind of like my staples that just keep bringing in business on a regular basis. So I think the takeaway there, whatever it's working, like I think you're hearing here, make sure you double down on it. Period.
Double down on it. All right, we're going to go over here to Brian, then we're going to hit Matt. Brian, give us a couple points that you're doing back to basics. You've been doing this a long time. So,
well, thank you. So I'm gonna kind of piggyback on everything I've heard so far, and like Dave Lawson, I could speak on this for hours because I love this topic. I know that the foundation that you build your business on has to be one that is filled with good habits and things that work. Because if you're a newer agent right now and you're watching this and you build your business on good foundation, then those skill sets that you build today will not fail you when the market changes. You've got to be flexible. So what you say matters, but how you say it matters more. Like Dave was saying with EMIT, you've got to understand what you're saying. Your words have power. And if you're asking questions and you're landing 1 out of 10 deals, then you need to focus on that. And there's a lot of clues in your successes. So I've been a student of the industry now for 40 years. My student ability has taken case studies like you guys have all been talking about and perfecting those case studies to what I call I built avatar clients. I have an avatar. My perfect client is duplicatable all the time if I get a chance to get in front of them and share with them in a presentation how to become an avatar client. When you do that, all your clients are amazing. But if they've never had a good experience and they've only had the experience that they've gone through, then they don't know a good experience from a bad experience. And that's our job. So if you're a frustrated realtor, guess what? Your clients are probably frustrated. But if you're having a great time, if you've got a great plan for them and you share that great plan for them, chances are they're going to have a great time with you. And like Gary was saying, I'm 95% referral because of what I've done over the years. But here's what I did, Gary, and this is awesome. Do this exercise. Think back to where those referral clients really came from. In my early years of real estate, I was doing a ton of open houses. My best friends today and clients today that refer me all the time, you know what? I met them in an open house 20, 30 years ago. I haven't done an open house in probably 8 years. And I have a deal right now that fell out of escrow, and I got a seller and a trust family that I really love, and I want to support these people. And I had 2 agents back out last weekend on an open house. So guess what I did? I borrowed signs. I don't even know about open house signs. I actually did an old school open house, put it in the MLS, did what I do, put up my signs. I'm in a seller multiple counter offer on $1 million house with a buyer that wandered in off the street last weekend that I didn't even know. I feel like I've known them forever because for some reason, they asked me a few questions. Listen, less is more. Less about you, more about the client. The better you get at asking great questions on an initial conversation in an environment where you didn't even know you were going to be, those words, how you say them, mean so much to what they're wanting to experience, right? So I just listened and gave them a little bit of feedback, and it was crazy. I was in Nashville out by Pete last weekend, and these people called me up, said, hey, Brian, we met you last weekend at an open house. We really liked you. We found a property. We love it. We weren't expecting to find one. Can you help us? And I'm like, absolutely. And so now we're in a multiple count. So the reason I'm sharing that I like to say out of the trenches, because every single person on this panel started in the trenches, knocking on doors, calling past clients, calling other people's clients, calling everybody they know. And out of those trenches, we became a little bit of an expert in our niche. And then when you again become an expert in your niche, like Randy is an investor friendly and being a luxury market agent like Dave Lawson, or our lead man today is he loves to cook. So he connects with people over food and Italian food and all these things. Whatever your niche is becomes who you are as an expert. And when you do that, watch out, because you're going to be able to all of a sudden build a business that feeds you because you're doing everything right. So learn good scripts, less about you, more about the client, build trust, not rapport. Rapport will come. And I guarantee you, if you begin to think about building your avatar client, and if you want to talk about that later, hit me up. I teach a class on how to build an avatar. And when I'm done with a buyer consultation, the people in front of me, they don't even want to go look at houses because they're not ready to look at houses. And that's the number one mistake we all made in the beginning, showing houses, thinking we just have to show the right house. Nope. You just got to sit down, give them a blueprint on how to have an American dream experience, and then deliver it.
There you go. Set the expectations out there. Explain to them how the process is going to work. Take the dark holes out. That's brilliant, Brian. Thank you for sharing that. And Brian, put your number in down there if anybody wants to get to you. All right, we're going to go all the way over to our surfer buddy. Did you surf yet today, Matty Batty?
I did not.
Is that a yet or
No.
I'm not going to?
No, there's no waves today, so no surfing
Okay.
today.
All right.
Yeah.
So instead, we're going to let you surf on the things that are back to basics that you're doing. We're down to about 15 minutes, and we're going to keep firing things. So
Well, I don't know if anybody mentioned this, but when I first started in real estate, I got up every morning. I like what David said about you're up at 8 o'clock and you're in class. And so when I first started in real estate, I was told to call cold call expireds and for sale by owners. So that's what I did every morning for 3 hours. Now we went for a period of time where we really didn't have very many expireds and for sale by owners, but that's changing. And so I think in everybody's markets now we have expireds and we have for sale by owners. And that's a great source of business because these are people that want to sell their house, right? And it's free to just get on the phones and make the calls. So I think that's something that everybody on this call should be doing. It's really not very difficult. There's lots of scripts out there. And then the other thing is if you do have past clients, it's definitely keeping in touch with your past clients. I use a program called Fellow. I don't know if anybody mentioned that, but that's a really good one.
Fellow?
Yeah. I think their website is HiFellow, HIFELLO. That's a way to keep in touch with past clients. So I put my whole database into that.
Yeah, Matt, could you share just a minute with the whole gang and all the people listening in? Fellow has, over the last couple of years or less, has really made a big impact in the business, and it's for the most part getting listings. So could you spend a minute and share a little bit more about what it is, how it works, and what your experience is? Because I think it's super valuable. Thank you.
Yeah, so Fellow is a program you put all your contacts into it, and I actually was able to reach out to my escrow company and get the email addresses of orphans, right? So I'm mainly a listing agent, but there's all these buyers that bought my listings. A lot of my sellers over the last 4 years have moved out of San Diego and out of the state. So I wanted to be able to keep in touch with all the people that bought my listings. So I put some effort into putting those people in there. And what Fellow does is it's kind of like, I think, HomeBot. It reaches out, I think, every 2 weeks via email, and it just, kind of tickles them and says, hey, what's going on? And it looks like it's coming directly from you. how are you? This is what's been happening in your area. This is what your home is probably worth. And when they respond, you have an excuse to follow up with them. Hey, I noticed you responded to that email, or I noticed you were looking up your home's value. So the important thing, even with a program like Fellow, is, if you just let Fellow do all the work and you don't follow up, it doesn't do anything. So you need to follow up. But it's nice because it's just a constant keeping in touch. And over the years, I've been guilty of, constantly going after new business and not really taking advantage of all my past clients out there. And I've got thousands of them. So the important thing is, even if you use a program like that, even if you don't use that, but you really got to be picking up the phone. I mean, again, we all have one of these, and we can all call all of our past clients, and you've got, I'm sure we've all got lots and lots of contacts just in our phone. But there's really no substitute for that. So those are the few things I would mention would be, honestly, expireds. Look, the market is slowing down. There's a lot more expireds out there than there was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And there's going to be a lot of people in the next year or two that are, going to want to, the people everybody was starting to downsize and sell their big homes. HomeBot, I see that $25 a month. That's better than Fellow. But anyway, there's going to be a huge backlog of sellers who finally will want to sell, downsize, all these baby boomers, and it's going to be a huge source of business. So I think the main takeaway is you just got to be on the phone. I always say real estate's a contact sport. So
yeah,
And
I
that's the
say
key.
all conversion starts with conversation. And I was at an event 2 weeks ago in Irvine. It was $1 billion mastermind all-day event. It was phenomenal. And he goes, if you've been in the business a long time, you don't have a lead generation problem. You have a lead follow-up problem, right? So I think that's kind of what you're saying. So thanks, Matt.
Yeah. What was the event in Irvine, by the way?
What was that called?
It was a EXP event with
Gotcha.
Road, Excellium, and a couple other, just a bunch of different people, or I'm sorry, Forward Coaching, there were 4 or 5 speakers, and I helped out a little bit. I've been a friend of hers forever, but anyway,
Hey,
moving on. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Something you guys were saying there is going back to the basics. I'm going to be really transparent. I've effed up some stuff. I've been driving around my neighborhood the other day or over the past week. I'm like, is that how I sold them the house? Are they in my database? I'm going back and checking my database, and I'm like, son of a bitch, they ain't in there. I left contact. So what did I do? I came back, jotted a note, and said, hey, it's been too long. I don't have your number. Please reach out to me. It meant that you dropped the ball, saying, oh my God, I can't believe you're not in my database. Because when we were going through it, look, I've done about 4,000 homes. And when I'm driving down the street, it's sometimes in this house, this house, this house. And I'm like, I'm an idiot. Where did all these people go, or what's going on? So admit your faults. Throw yourself on the sword to your client, saying, look, I orphaned you. I'm sorry. What can I do to make it up? How can I help you? How you've been? What's going on? So
Craig, I love that. And a great way to say that to your client is, let's just role play this. Ring, ring.
Hey, this is Craig.
Oh my God, Craig, it's Gail. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing there, Gail?
Oh my God, I'm calling because I owe you the biggest apology.
Really? Why is that?
Dude, I mean, we were going to get together. We were going to go have dinner. I've seen your kids grow up in front of me and Facebook. My life got busy, but that's no excuse. The dime stops here. I want to make an effort to let's reconnect. I mean, I had so much fun with that transaction with you. How's your wife? So that's how I do it.
Crazy.
I just say, man, I'm so sorry. Well, don't, Gail, we get it. Don't worry. You're so busy. But that is the worst curse when people think you're too busy for them.
And
right?
stop using the word busy.
Right.
I love it whenever stop. My schedule's full. We've talked about this before. Busy
Right.
means you're bullshitting.
Right.
My schedule's full. I can fit you in, but I want to give it when I can give you the attention that you deserve. Stop saying I'm busy. That's
The other, yeah, the other thing that I heard somewhere at a seminar one time, was, let's say you have a seller or a client that's kind of difficult, and they went kind of off the rails during the transaction, and we always think, gosh, that person was such a, maybe they became such a nightmare. I'm not going to keep in touch with them. And the guy up on stage is, reach out to all your past clients, and don't worry, they're not still mad. Which is an important thing to remember, I think,
as the saying goes, time heals all wounds. I don't know about that. We still hold grudges.
Craig, you made it way too easy on Gail. Gail, ring at him again, and this time, Craig, say Gail who?
Ring.
Gail who? No, I mean, hey, it's Greg.
Hey, Craig, how are you? It's Gail.
How do I know you?
I know I suck. It's like I actually sold your home. Come on, don't give me a hard time. I'm calling to apologize. I feel horrible. It's like my own kids, I miss their birthdays. So I just want to stop right here. You're in my top 10 in my database as far as people I love doing business with. I just want to think, I would love to reconnect. You want to grab a beer or?
You really think we have to reconnect? Gail, I would run to have a beer with you. I'd run to have a vodka and club with 3 limes as you drink. There you go.
My drink.
I know her drink. All right, we're down to the last 4 minutes. We've got Memorial Day weekend coming up, and I'm going to throw this out there, and everybody in the attendees has got to be involved. So here's the deal. We're going to go one at a time. Don't all shout, but here you go. As attendees, I want you to put in the answer. Why did I freeze? Okay. Do you put ketchup on your hot dog? David Lawson.
No, I don't eat hot dogs.
Okay. I gotta know. Kat, do you put mustard, or what do you put on your hot dog? You, Cam, go.
Who? Oh, me, duh. Oh man, I am the biggest supporter of the Costco hot dog. Ketchup, mustard, and relish. Love it.
You guys in ketchup. Gail, do you put ketchup on your hot dog?
Oh my God. Only kids do that. Are you crazy? It's Dijon.
There's Cam, our sunburned kid. Brian Yarborough, do you put ketchup on your hot dog?
No, mustard and onions.
Mustard and onions. Yo, attendees, come on. Let's see what you got. Gary. I know Gary probably puts on like some hot sauce and shit. Seeing you so hot.
Yeah. So again, I don't eat hot dogs, but it would be like an Italian sausage, and when I do, it's mustard, jalapenos, onions. Yeah.
There you go.
Of course.
That's good.
Matt, with your 5 kids.
Yeah, I put everything. Yeah, I do ketchup, mustard, and relish for sure. Onions, whatever, jalapenos, you name it.
I'm more of a taco guy, by the way, though. So if there's a choice between tacos and hot dogs, I'm going with the tacos. I hope you guys understand.
Hey, I've been out with Gary, and we've driven to the place and ordered 400 tacos for 30 of us. Trust me, that threw them in a tailspin. A bunch with 3 bottles of tequila. Randy, what's yours? You do ketchup?
If I actually eat a hot dog, I want it all. Bring it all. Mustard, ketchup, relish. I mean, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go for it, man.
There you go. Dave, you were going to say something?
No.
All right. I got one last one going into the holiday. Okay. One last one. I know we're not supposed to eat, and I know a lot of us don't, but what's your favorite ice cream, knowing that we're coming into the summer? I'm going to start with Gail. Gail, what's your favorite ice cream?
Pistachio. Ben and
Really?
Jerry's, the best. Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's. There
Pistachio
you go.
topped with a little dark chocolate. It's all good.
There you go. Maddie.
This is gonna be I really like Dairy Queen dipped in vanilla dipped in chocolate.
I like that. There you go. It's like a Mr. Frosty's truck. Cam, what's you?
Oh, anything Ben and Jerry's with brownies in it. So if it's Ben and Jerry's and it's got those big brownie chunks, I'm game for it.
Here we go. David, don't tell me colored snow.
Mint chip, baby.
Mint. Hold on. The white or the green?
Oh, white for sure.
You got to do the white. All right.
I have
Brian,
to change mine to Italian gelato, actually.
Ooh,
Now
yeah.
that I
what
think
what
about it.
flavor? What
There you go.
flavor though?
Stracciatella, which is
All
basically
right.
chocolate chip.
All right, I'm kind of with you. All right. All right, Brian.
I would have been in line behind Matt at Dairy Clean, but I would say Moose Tracks.
There you go. Moose Tracks. Is that the one that has the pretzels, the caramels, the this and that and everything in it?
Yeah, it's a heavy vanilla with a little bit of chocolate, dark chocolate, and some caramel.
There we go. All right, Gary.
Espresso gelato or butter
Hey.
pecan.
Ooh.
Hey Gary, what's going on with the market in down in Cabo, by the way?
It's a long story.
All right,
Is
we're down to a minute. Let's go
Okay.
here. Randy, what's yours? Did you say it?
Yeah, at home I keep Haagen-Dazs bars, vanilla with dark chocolate. But if I'm like at a Dairy Queen or something like that, I'm gonna get mint chocolate chip or coffee flavor.
There we go. Hey, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do a limoncello sorbet. You got to get at it. So, all right, here we go. We're gonna wish everybody a fantastic Memorial Day. Love sharing some things about ourselves. Love you guys sharing some of the things. It looks like ketchup on the hot dog wins. If I have a hot dog this weekend, I might have to do it just for you guys. It's going to be sinful, and I'll post it on Instagram if I do it. But
All right.
you guys are all
Great
rock
weekend,
stars.
everybody.
Great weekend.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Everybody have a great
Great
weekend.
job, Craig.
Great.
Be well, be safe. God bless.
Thanks, Greg.
Bye bye.